the family, the relationships, the brain, which I studied brain a lot in college, and that sort of was a natural place for me.
Because of troubles with your own brain? Were you like?
I was in therapy for a long, long time.
In classic
10 years,
therapy
11 years.
with a psychiatrist?
No, she was a psychologist.
When you were younger?
I finished. My son had brain surgery when he was 1. And my anxiety disorder got so profound after
so it was
that.
an anxiety
again, my wife
issue.
sent me again. Oh, yeah. And I went for 11 years. It was fantastic.
About anxiety?
About anxiety. It was about accessing affect and regulating it, if that makes sense. But
so tracking the source of your panic.
No, the panic was all epiphenomenon as far as I'm concerned.
What does that mean? Reasonable?
No, just symptoms of something unrelated. And this is sort of how I got involved in addiction and stuff too, because I think people really need this kind of stuff deeply.
Right. Do you go in there? You're anxious. Your kid had
anxious,
and full of dread.
Everything. Yeah. Anxiety is about the only feeling I had for many years.
Oh.
Yeah. And finally, she was like realizing that I had I think I might have hit. She would never she had careful boundaries, so she never really told me. But I think I had kind of an alexithymia where I couldn't access and name feelings very well. And so
what's that called?
Alexithymia. And so
that's a psychological condition, it's not a medical problem, right?
I mean, yeah.
Okay. So,
but it created a psychiatric
so
syndrome, panic and anxiety. Yeah.
Right.
And so by learning to sit with another person and deeply connect and let her sort of help me attach, then it was profound. It was profound.
A lot of crying?
No, a lot of dissociating. A lot of disconnecting, because I had sort of dissociated.
Once you connected, didn't you just?
No, I think what would happen to me was because I never had problems with intense feelings. As usual, intense feelings.
Screaming or crying?
Yeah, intense feelings are all right.
Yeah.
But as usual, it's the intermediate zone that people have trouble with. And I would feel comfortable, I guess, or safe, sort of dropping into these dissociative states that I didn't even know I had.
How would that manifest itself?
I would fugue. I would and time would expand and contract. And I have no idea. And she'd all of a sudden become aware, and she'd go, "Time's up." I'd be like, huh?
Yeah. Oh, you just left.
Huh? I'd sort of hypnotic.
Right.
And I think that was the source of my anxiety. It's a guy named Alan Shore that calls those trauma-associated dead spots. And it would fill in as I would get more comfortable, sort of moving in and out of it.
What was the source of the trauma?
That's sort of emotional abuse when I was growing up. I don't want to, out anybody, but
like anger type. Or selfish type? Like were you neglected or were you used?
Abused. Used.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, narcissistic parents. So we have similar things, you and I.
Yeah,
it's weird like that because that's tricky, isn't it?
It's delicate and it's submerged and it's not obvious.
But it reveals itself in me through codependent behavior.
Absolutely, me too, 100%. Because you end up. Your whole being becomes about managing them. And, and they demand that.
Right, and you had no choice early on.
Well, you didn't know. Nobody gave you enough what you needed to develop an autonomous self.
Right, but the narcissist, exactly.
Yeah.
But the narcissist thinks that they're doing it right.
Oh, absolutely. They're doing it for you.
Yeah.
They're doing it for you.
Oh, it's so sad. It makes me choke up. So but that is really the key to it is that, so you had that too.
Yeah.
That's a scary thing. So you because what I've realized about myself is that you wander through the world with an incomplete self because you were never
100%.
Right, because you weren't able. No one drew the boundary. Apparently,
no one drew the boundary and then sat there and was present for you ever.
Right.
Because they didn't know how to. They didn't know how to.
And they still don't. Mine don't.
No, absolutely not. No.
And no matter what you do.
They would be confused.
Yeah, they're like, what are you talking about? We took care of you. We bought you that car.
Yeah.
You remember when you were 15?
Yeah. And you were tough. You were brooding and anxious. And you were tough. You were like every teenager.
Right. But you had it together.
Look at you. You're fine.
Look at you. You're fine. Yeah. Well, I mean, but I don't know how you didn't get more fucked up. I guess you.
I think I gritted it out. I ground it out for many, many years, dealing with my anxiety stuff.
But you must have been obsessive. I mean, you must have overworked.
But I liked. Oh my God, I had severe workaholism for many, many years.
So that was the thing.
Yeah. But I liked people, and I could connect to people. I just couldn't connect them in a real genuine way. I remember telling my therapist
because there's a fear there. Right? I mean, the weird thing about me is that if you let yourself be vulnerable, because you emotionally you're
exploited.
Right, and no one placated this fear of being hurt thing, or your sensitivity is not relative to the situation.
Yeah,
everything becomes very big.
Yes,
like if somebody just goes, "I can't have lunch," it's like, what?
Yeah, what did I do?
And it's like, God, I'm an asshole.
well, listen, I had a little different thing. I remember early on in therapy, I said, I really see this whole process as the search for the genuine.
Right.
I wanted genuine.
That's what this whole podcast is.
I want a genuine emotion. I want a genuine connection.
I want to be authentic self.
Authentic self. And it was empty. A lot of emptiness I had. And empty is a common feeling these days. So that has kind of become, strangely enough, Mark, my life work now, trying to help other people see it, because it's everywhere.
The emptiness.
The emptiness is so common now, and it's emptiness because of abuse, because of narcissistic parenting, all that stuff.
Narcissistic
abandonment,
culture.
Neglect. It's everywhere.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
And you're like, not unlike what I'm doing in certain ways, is that, to get back to that, because just because we happen to have narcissistic residual syndrome, which I just made up.
I love it.
Being brought up by narcissists, we have a sensitivity to it, but we're cursed with the self-awareness to not be narcissists. So then the struggle becomes, well, who am I? And then, once you sort of level up on that, it doesn't mean you know what the hell to do with that. I mean, I still deal with emptiness. I mean, I can't make a relationship work. When I stop working, or I sit there and I go, well, what am I going to do now? I don't fucking know. Nap. I can't. I still have a lot of anxiety.
Yeah.
What do you do with the emptiness now?
I don't experience it anymore.
Well, how do you know you're not just a workaholic?
Because I actually worry that I'm not working enough anymore. Okay. I love work. I have, because of therapy, I've organized my life in such a way that all parts of myself are involved, and things I do are sort of creative and interesting. I get to come talk. Are you kidding? 20 years ago, to have time to do this?
Wouldn't happen.
No way.
Like I had to. Like I have had many cyclical, I'm me, you're you, fuck you things with my dad because of this thing.
Yeah.
And not knowing, ultimately, there's still some party that thinks they're going to take responsibility for it, but usually they retreat into something.
No, they've got what they got. They can't change unless
but
they go to treatment.
But you
too.
Always accepted that.
My dad passed away. And so that was that. And his stuff.
I'm sorry. When was that?
Oh, it's 4 years ago.
Yeah, I know, but you're 50-something years old. So what happened before that?
What happened to me was with him. I still got stuff with my mom.
Is she around still?
Yeah. With him, he was doing such a wonderful job as a grandparent. He was just like,
you let him off the hook
completely. I was so grateful. I was so filled with gratitude for his grandparenting that I was like, I'm out. It's fine. I don't care anymore.
That must have been moving, though.
Yeah, that was intense. That was important.
Yeah.
And I would give anything to have one more conversation with him. I know a lot of people feel that way. But, I found forgiveness.
Itself.
I found forgiveness and gratitude in that. Absolutely.
Well, when did you know that you had arrived at your true self, or that you were being authentic?
It just a long process. It just happened. I noticed I was using it more in treating patients. I think that's when I had something more to offer patients. And I could offer them a real empathy that was profound.
That's what people don't realize about people that come from what we come from. When you come from narcissists, your capacity for empathy has to be learned, and it's kind of fucked up.
But there's also an asset there. It's not because you're so used to, some people. I think there's two sort of wirings in people. People that start in and go out towards others, and people that start with the other and then go in.
Right.
And to some extent, we all do both, but codependents go out first, and so we are exquisitely sensitive to. We can pick up.
But I'm a closet. The weird thing is, I never knew that part of myself. My second marriage dissolved because she went to Al-Anon, so she hit a codependent wall. But I didn't see my part of being a codependent until recently in recent relationships. I didn't realize that there was such a thing as an alpha doormat.
It's got to. I have a special empathy for co's that are addicts. That's a tough combo.
Yeah, because you're the monster.
It cuts both ways.
Yeah, and then when at 15 years, I'm in two relationships where I'm clearly chasing my ass to try to accommodate. And I'm like, oh my God, this is even more powerful. But it's more power. It's like I never understood what that dynamic was. And and I had it all my life, because when you deal with erratic parents who need managing, you accommodate.
And there's another layer to it too.
Oh boy,
this is the crazy part.
Yeah,
is that, and this you can't really ever cure. you're going to be attracted to people that put you in that position.
I know.
and you just love them. That's just how you're wired. It's your love map. And so you've got to mitigate it. The way to mitigate it is to go ahead and go after people you're not that excited about, but then you're sort of withholding something from yourself.
But you can't do that because then it's like it's like a phantom limb. You know,
it's hard. It's very. Well, and by the way, you can also just go for people that are exciting, but realize it's going to be dramatic, and you need a lot of therapy.
But that's the thing is that like what I learned is, or what my therapist says, like, well, that's the way it's going to be, and the best you can hope for is that they're willing to do the work.
Yes. I agree with that.
Yeah.
There's very few therapists would say that. I think you are seeing somebody good after all. So I absolutely agree with that. Because that's life. Well, we're not perfect. We're not healthy all the time.
That's right. But
it's what makes life interesting.
You can't be with somebody that's going to have that you're not going to connect with on that level.
Well,
and just say
you can, but
you better be very disciplined not to go out and fuck the lunatic.
Correct.
Correct. Yes, of course. I live this.
A lot of people do not understand this. And it's where a lot of the craziness comes from. The things that were traumatic in our childhood are the sources of attraction. And no one writes,
not only the sources of attraction, you want to recreate it.
Well, that's the conscious experience of it. I think there's something far more
unconscious.
profound.
I think that
because when people start talking about it in therapy, they always go, well, I guess I wanted to master it. I want to make it right this time. Like, no, that's your brain trying to make sense of bullshit motivation.
No, it's comfortable. It's what you grew up with.
It's
map.
Home. It's love.
Right.
It's your map. It's where you find love.
Is it love?
Yes. That's your version of love.
The
not
version.
the healthiest version. Not the healthiest version. But I got the same one, so it's all good.
But you've been with your wife for how long?
23 years.
So
it's working. But we have our craziness, but we therapy here, everybody, it's good.
All right.
And if I have found in the craziness passion and renewal.
Right.
It works for us. I now hope it keeps
my problem now, like, because I've dissolved 2 marriages and I just got out of a relationship that got crazy. And, like now when I meet somebody and I feel compelled and they seem normal, I'm like, I got to wait. No. Like, if
something's going to happen if you're attracted.
Right. I'm like, what are you hiding? It's in there.
If you're attracted, of course.
It's in there.
Of course. However,
yeah,
you've been doing a lot of therapy and stuff like that. And it's possible that if you notice yourself being attracted to people and surprised you're attracted to that person, that might be somebody safer.
We'll see. Like the one benefit is I've gotten out of things quicker. So
you end up you see it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but the pain of that, of all of that, the heartbreak.
It's funny. I'm sighing a lot here with you. I feel
there's a heartbreak to things like sort of like ugh.
I totally get it.
It's going to be different. All right, so I want. There's a couple things like